I'll start my talk with a few quotes, which I'll repeat again and again. My presentation is very short, just 10 slides. The first quote I'd like you to take home, if you don't remember anything I said today, is you cannot solve a problem if you don't know that problem. So if you don't identify that you actually have a problem, and it's very, very painful to sit down and say, yeah, I have this problem. I think you're right. It's not easy. But if you can't identify a problem, you can't solve it. So if you're trying to solve a financial issue and you don't think you're a problem yourself, then you're very far away from getting any financial independence. And another thing is that everyone has an ideal perception of what is wealth. For me, it was leaving the country. Me, I used to admire people who just walk in and out of Kenya. I mean, you go to US, because I never had that chance when I was a child. So for me, subconsciously, it's still a very big thing if you can go in and out of country. In fact, my first salary, I left the country. For another person, it could be a huge car, you know? You know, there are cars you sit in, you feel it's a car, all right? Be a huge house. It doesn't really matter. It's okay. Everything is fine. But how do you finance that? That is what makes the difference, all right? So everybody has a different perception of what is wealth. It's how we finance it that really matters and makes the difference between how you create your wealth. Then, as I said this, it was a depressive discovery season. The second session of your personal finance management might drive you into depression. Waithaka had warned us. You will feel depressed. And then you finally realize it's not what you earn, it's what you save that really matters. You can earn a lot and you can even double your income. Same behaviors, you end up where you are. And then if you waste 5 shillings out of every 10 shillings, the day you will earn 10 million, you will not account for 5 million. Same behaviors. So you have to change this yourself so that you can manage a business that is giving you a lot of income. So charity begins at home. Very important saying. And that's why it's very important to first start with that personal finance session before you start thinking of your business. And there are many things you'll think you know, and you realize it's not so obvious. So my personal money management, basically you cannot solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is. So what are some of the problems I identified? I'll be very personal here, and I'll candidly give you some personal things, okay? But I've learned to be open. The first thing they took us was our mentality on money. These are my problems that I found. I found that I had fear of losing money. I was brought up by a father who would tell me, "We, unatupa pesa, si utapoteza pesa hapo. How do you go to invest there? Hey, buy land." And believe me, I bought land. What am I doing with it? So I was very conservative with my investments. I was not investing in things that looked risky. So every county, and I've worked in 3 counties, Machakos, Makueni, Nakuru, I have land. What am I doing with it? Okay? So every time I get money, I buy land. And I have bought so much plots and land, okay? Because of my fear of losing money. I cannot invest in a club that is coming up in Nakuru. I was taught not to lose money. Number 2, I would put money in the bank and just keep it there safe, all right? Not touch it. Don't take it anywhere else. Number 2, it will also influence my choice of the partner I choose, because I could not socialize with someone who does not earn like me. Tunapeleka na wapi, you know. And you don't see the potential of this person, all right? You just want someone who rides this car, drives this kind of car, which sometimes is not really the right choice. There are people who are still in financial shambles and they're driving a good car. You'll be cheated. All right? My parents, I've started understanding my parents a bit, because there are things I would tell them and they'll tell me, no, you cannot think like that, Njoki. But after this, I see where they come from. They were not taught these financial things. So I understand them and I can see where they're coming from, and I'm slowly able to bring them back to see things the way I see things. And I'm happy we're now understanding each other with my dad. Fear of large figures. Me, if you bring me an investment and you tell me it's 20 million, Intatoa wapi 20 million. See, that's not for me. It used to be of, I cannot afford it versus how can I afford it. So nowadays, even when someone tells me this thing will probably cost 20 million, I sit down and listen. I don't get intimidated by that. So basically, everyone has their ideal perception of what is wealth. The important thing is how you finance that thing that you want so badly is what matters. So those are some of the problems I found myself having, my mentality about money. I also had several problems, not just that. My personal balance sheet. I left school immediately. I was not from a very badly off family. My parents were well off. I was chauffeured to school. I went to a good school. And immediately I went to medical school. I became an intern. I never tarmacked. I started earning immediately. So for me, I've never had a problem looking for money, being in serious need. And of course, I went ahead, I became a doctor, and I started living on the fast lane. The first thing I did, I bought a house, I bought a car, and even I bought for my dad a car. I had 3 liabilities, loans. I could pay for them, I was earning. That was before I came for Centonomy. I had many non-liquid assets, land, okay? Buy a plot, eh? I had no liquid assets. I had no savings in case of an emergency, and many came along. When I calculated my survival months, that is, if you take your expenditure and then you divide it by the savings you have, mine was -3. All right? And it was shocking. I cannot survive for even a 0 month, -3. For me, if I continue living with the way I was spending money with my lifestyle. It's okay to talk about wealth. I know our African culture, our Christian background, wealthy people cannot enter heaven. Even like a camel can enter a needle, but not a rich man in heaven. It's like it's taboo. Wealth is criminalized. No, it's okay to talk about wealth. It's okay to say, I have lost. Even big companies declare losses to the tune of billions, and they declare profits. When you sit down with a group of wealthy people, they talk about wealth. They'll tell you, I've been trying to invest in this sector. It's not giving me returns. On the other hand, this one brought me millions. It's okay to talk about wealth and learn to talk about it. That's the only way you can be able to get information from other people in those sectors. Money management in business is the same principle as your personal finance. The principles are the same, really. So if you cannot manage your finance, you will not manage your business well. Investing money earned from entrepreneurship is the same principle as those ones you use to invest your personal money. At the end of the day, both will give you money. If you are employed, you get money. If you're entrepreneurship, you get money. The goal is still the money. Where do you invest it? Same principles. So one of the things that came out very clearly is that not everything is a financial asset. It's not always money. There's the other non-financial resources. And one very important non-financial resource is relationships. When I say relationships, I don't mean boy-girl relationship, although even that one is okay. I mean relationship with people, with business partners, with stakeholders. That is a very important non-financial. And Waithaka will give you examples of people who started from zero, but because of good relationships they had with somebody, they were able to make it big. That is, the relationships is the last thing you should sacrifice in anything. Even with your, let me say, like my house help. Before I would chase them, kwenda huko, you don't know how to work. Go there, go to hell. Then she opens a shop next door, which is well stocked. I have to buy from that shop. It's really embarrassing. You need to, there's no need of burning a bridge. The least you can do is maybe ignore and move out of their circle. But don't burn bridges. You never know when you'll walk back on that bridge, okay? So relationships are gold, and it's a non-financial investment that is worth keeping, all right? That's why I'll take my time here and talk for Centonomy and building a relationship, all right? So these things are very good, and it's important that you cultivate this relationship and don't compromise a relationship for anything. That's what I was saying. In entrepreneurship, conflict of interest can really break a relationship. It's not worth it, okay? So non-financial resources, it's good to identify them and know what they are. It's not just the money. So in summary, to be a good entrepreneur, you need a solid base in personal finance management first. Then you can manage the finances of your entrepreneurship. And yeah, as the saying goes, charity begins at home. If yourself in your home you can't manage your finances, I'm not so sure what you're busy doing thinking of a business. You need to start there first. If you're in debt, you need to first sort that out first before you can think entrepreneurship. All right? And by debt I mean bad debts.